Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about surds. The simple definition of surds, numbers in square root that are surd, and numbers in square root that are not surd. Of course, not every number in square root are surd. Some numbers are not, others are. And then after that we're going to talk about how you can simplify it. So without wasting my time, let's get started. Alright, so if it says surd are numbers in square roots that cannot be further simplified into whole numbers or rational numbers. Therefore, surds are irrational numbers. In other words, numbers involving square roots that cannot be written as rational numbers are called surd. So, for example, square root of 2 is considered as surd. The simple reason is that square root of 2 cannot be further simplified into whole numbers. If you take your calculator right now and you try to input square root of 2, you're gonna get number like 1.4142 . Of course, depending on the calculator that you're using, you're gonna get different results. But what is common in all these is that you're going to have a bunch of numbers or decimal numbers here, a load of decimal numbers. Therefore, we say that root 2 is a surd. Another example is square root of 5 is a surd. Some other examples of surds are root 3, root 7, and co. These numbers are surd. So, what numbers are not surd? Let me change my pen here. Let's consider a number like square root of 9. Square root of 9, though, is in square root, but it's not surd. Why? Square root of 9 can further be simplified as a whole number, or can further be simplified as a rational number, because square root of 9 is 3. Therefore, square root of 9 is not a surd. How about square root of 16? Square root of 16 is 4. Therefore, it's not a surd. There are other numbers like square root of 1, square root of 1 over 25. Square root of 1 over 25 is not a surd. It might look like a surd, but it's not, because we can further simplify this as square root of 1 divided by square root of 25. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 25 is 5. Therefore, this is not a surd because it's a rational number. We can even further find the answer of 1 over 5, which is 0.2. Therefore, square root of 1 over 25 cannot be said to be a surd. Now let's try and simplify surd. The basic fact of a square root number is that when it multiplies by itself, it gives the original number. So when you multiply square root 2 times square root of 2, it should give you 2. Let's try another example. If we have square root of 3 times square root of 3, it should give you the original number 3. It's only the square root that goes away. Another example, square root of 5 times square root of 5 gives you the original number, which is 5. That's it. You'll find out from these 3 examples that giving square root of 2 or squared, this simply means that we have square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 2. Same way, we do know that the basic fact about the square root of a number is that when multiplied by itself, it gives the original number. So the answer of this will be 2. Let's try and find out square root of 5 squared. Don't forget, we put the 2, this square, out of the bracket because it affects both the number and the square root sign. So, which is the same as square root of 5 times square root of 5. And it will give us the original number. That's it. Let's extend our knowledge further. Now, square root of 9 is simply 3. Why is this so? Well, one thing that really helps in simplifying surds is knowing your square numbers. Let's try and practice our square numbers here. Let's do it together. 1 squared is the same as 1 times 1, which is 1. Therefore, 1 squared is 1. 1 is a square number. How about 2 squared? 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. We can say 4 is a squared number. How about 3? 3 squared, same way, is 3 times 3, which is 9. So 9 is also a square number. 4 squared is the same as 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 is a square number. How about 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, which is 25. Therefore, 25 is a squared number. How about 6 squared? 6 squared is 6 by 6, which is 36. Right. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. 8 squared is same as 8 times 8, which is 64. 9 squared is 9 by 9, which is 81. Last one, 10 squared, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. It can go on and on and on like this. So please don't forget, The first 10 square numbers are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100. Sorry, it's 100. Let me complete it. 100. These are all square numbers. Knowing your square numbers really helps in simplifying surd. If we are to multiply square root of 3 and square root of 5, this can be written as square roots of 3 times 5, just like we do in algebra. Therefore, square roots of 3 and 5 is square roots of 15. Simple. Let's practice another one. Square root of 5 times square root of 2. This is the same as square roots of 5 times 2, which is square root of 10. Done. We can also reverse this. How do we do that? We can reverse this. For example, if we are given square root of 15, square root of 15, this is just a reverse of this process, a reverse of this one. So square root of 15 is the same as square root of any pair of factors of 15 can do that. So, of course, it's the same as 1 square root of 1 times 15. We can do that. We can also say square root of 15 is the same as 3 times 5. The same. We can break it into any pairs of factors of 15. All right. So going by that, this one can be also rewritten as square root of 1 times square root of 15. Same way, square root of 3 times 15 can be written as square root of 3 times square root of 5. So we've not broken any rule. This is just the reverse of that one. Let's try and simplify these. We want to simplify square root of 8. And square root of 27. How do we do that? Number 1, and this is number 2. Okay, let's go. So we do know from what you've just discussed, square root of 8 can be written as square root of 1 times 8 or square root of 4 times 2, just like this, square root of 4 times 2. Suggestion is that always try and look for a factor of the number, which is also square number. So we do know that 4 is a factor of 8. At the same time, 4 is a square number. Let's go and check it out. Square numbers, we have 4 here. So 4 is also a square number. Let's continue. So, which is the same as square root of 4 times square root of 2. But look, square root of 4, we know from the square numbers that square root of 4 is 2 times square root 2, which is the same as 2 root 2. That's it. We're done with this one. Okay. How about question number 2? Someone can say, oh, I can break square root of 27 into square root of 1 times square root of 27, right? Which gives us the same. Someone can say, I can just pick square root of 3 times 9, square root of 9. Cool. Let's consider the first one. Square root of 1. 1 is a squared number. It's 1 times square root of 27. Square root of 1 times 20 is the same as square root of 27, right? Don't forget, nothing has changed. So, we're wrong. We could not further simplify this. We haven't simplified that. Let's consider the second one. For the second one, we know that square root of 27 is the same as square root of 3 times this, which is equal to square root of 3 times 9 is a square number. So square root of 9 is 3. When we multiply a whole number and a surd, we bring the whole number before the surd. So we have 3 root 3. And this is the answer. So 3 root 3 is the simplified version of root 27. Let's try and simplify A square root of 48, B square root of 200, and C square root of 18 times square root of 2. All right. To solve this, let's try and break square root of 48 into 8 factors. But it always helps to make sure that one of the factors must be a squared number. So we do know that square roots of 48 can be rewritten as square root of 16 times square root of 3. Nothing has changed. We do know that square root of 16 is 4, since 16 is a square number. You may refer to what we just done. times square root of 3, which is 4 root 3. That's all. How about b? For b, square root of 200. Again, we can divide it into its factors, right? We can break it down. So let's go. Square root of 100 times 2 is the same as 200, right? Why did I pick 100 times 2? Why I didn't choose 50 times 4? Since 100 is a squared number, it's going to help me to make things easier for me. So I can just break it down. It's the same as square root of 100 times square root of 2. We do know that square root of 100 is 10 times square root of 2, which is 10 roots 2. That's it. Last question, C. How do we approach this question? Well, we know that square root of 18 times 2 can be rewritten as square root of 18 times 2, which is square root of 18 times 2 is 36. 36 is a squared number. Therefore, square root of 2 is 6. That's it. Thank you so much. We're gonna continue with the next lesson. Please consider to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. Goodbye.